Well, good morning. Thank you for joining us today. I'm David Shepard, MLA for Edmonton City Centre and the Shadow Minister for Public Safety and Emergency Services. We're gathered here today on the traditional territory of Treaty 6, and we acknowledge the Métis people who share a deep connection with this land. Public safety is one of the most pressing concerns for Albertans. I hear about it in every community that I visit. I see it here in the communities that I represent. From people worried about crime in their neighborhoods, to small business owners dealing with break-ins and vandalism, to family members worried about a loved one experiencing houselessness, to our friends and neighbors who've experienced hate crimes or domestic violence, to rural families who are the repeat victims of property crime. Too many Albertans feel less safe in their own communities. And frontline workers who serve them are seeing firsthand the impacts of a failing system under this UCP government. That's why today we're releasing our public safety blueprint, a practical plan to make Alberta safer for everyone. Let's be clear. After 6 years in government, the UCP still has no real plan to build safer communities. In fact, they've made things much worse. Instead of investing in proven solutions, in the current budget, they're cutting funding for community and public safety services. They've reduced support for legal aid. They've increased barriers to justice. Their 2025 budget makes it harder for Albertans to get the help they need, and it leaves our communities struggling with rising crime and social disorder. Albertans deserve better. And our plan is built on what Albertans have told us they need, what they've seen work in their communities. And it's available today on albertasfuture.ca. Our proposals include things like dedicated mental health first crisis response teams, so that people in crisis get the right support when they need it, not just police response. Accessible addictions treatment and harm reduction services, because addressing root causes makes our communities safer. More shelter spaces and supportive housing options, because everyone deserves a safe place to call home. Stronger engagement with communities, because every neighborhood has unique challenges and deserves tailored solutions. For example, supporting rural crime watch committees. Better collaboration with Indigenous communities to ensure that safety initiatives are led by them and respect and support their needs. Improve social services for marginalized individuals wherever they live, in the city, a mid-sized city, in our rural communities, so that vulnerable Albertans aren't left behind. An enhanced justice system with appropriate sentences to ensure accountability and fairness while keeping our communities safe. And finally, stronger support for police and emergency responders, the folks on the front line, so they have the resources they need to do their jobs effectively. These aren't just ideas. This is what the research shows works. This is what communities are asking for. And this is what an Alberta New Democrat government will invest in. Now, the UCP have had 6 years to listen to Albertans, to present a plan for safer communities, a fresh opportunity in their latest budget, but they've failed to do so. Instead of listening to Albertans, they continue to ignore the valid concerns of families, businesses, and law enforcement. Instead of investing in public safety, they've cut essential services. They've made justice harder to access. That's not leadership. It's recklessness. It's incompetence. Alberta's New Democrats, well, we'll continue to do the one thing the UCP refuses to do. We're going to keep listening to Albertans. Because Albertans deserve nothing less than ethical, competent government. Government that will ensure that everyone is able to feel safe in their community. Now, the UCP's budget, well, it moves us further from that reality. But with our public safety blueprint, we have a plan to get Alberta back on track. And as we release this today, I'm very happy to be joined by some special guests. Will Chen, a local business owner here in Edmonton, and Dan Jones, a criminologist and former police officer. Both great members in our community, and I appreciate them being here to support today. Let's start with you, Will, if you'd like to come up.
Hi everyone, thanks for being here. My name's Will Chen and I'm a business owner here in Edmonton's Chinatown. I think I share a common concern with many business owners across the province. We need a strong plan around public safety. As a business owner, my success relies on being able to operate in a place where people feel safe. A safe place where families can feel comfortable going out into their communities, knowing that they won't be exposed to visible social disorder. Businesses need support in providing safe places for people and customers. As business owners, we're usually on the front line of when something goes wrong in our communities. We often deal with complex issues facing our neighborhoods that we can't do it alone. We need reliable partnerships with all orders of government to make this happen. And that's why I support this blueprint for public safety. It addresses many things I need as a business owner. It outlines how we can actually help people in our communities. We know we need to help the most vulnerable who may be on our streets. A lot can be solved just by providing people with a safe place and giving them the support they need. I see a lot of vulnerable people around my restaurant every day. There are many who could benefit from mental health and addiction support. This plan could give people what they need to live, what they need to get off the street. I believe in giving back to my community, and I won't turn a blind eye on anyone who needs help. But businesses across Alberta can't be expected to do this alone. This is difficult for anyone, especially for small businesses like mine. We need active participation with governments to address all of these issues, to give us assistance in making our streets safer. With this blueprint for public safety, I like that it has focus on making public places safer and working collaboratively with businesses and communities to find practical solutions to address crime. I know that business owners, myself included, as well as Albertans in general, would love to see many of the recommendations in this document implemented. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak about this. My name is Dan Jones. I am the chair of Justice Studies at Northwest College, and I look at this blueprint as what Alberta needs. A lot of what's being talked about in this blueprint is what I studied in school. I was fortunate I went to the University of Cambridge and I took evidence-based policing in my master's degree. And when I look at these things in the blueprint and I look at what we're trying to police, we don't have a crime problem here. We have a systems problem where addictions and trauma are overwhelming people and making people vulnerable. The research that we did shows 97% of men and 97% of women and 95% of men incarcerated in today's prisons are victims of trauma, with the vast majority of that trauma occurring at the average age of 9. So when I look at this blueprint and you're looking at following along to this proper addictions and mental health services, funding that properly, not single way. There's not a single way there. There's not a single magic bullet. And unfortunately, that's what happens is police agencies across the board always look for that magic bullet. They want something to fix it right away. We need to invest. We need to invest in our future. We need to invest in our youth. And if you follow different processes like this blueprint talks about, it will enhance the security and safety and well-being for the people of Edmonton, all over Alberta, and I love that there's also a focus on the rural issues. Rural crime is a thing, and there are evidence-based ways to deal with that. This blueprint talks about them. If we don't follow evidence and we don't follow data, we aren't actually doing anything. It's a Band-Aid, if that. We talk about fentanyl all the time. I have lost friends to fentanyl poisonings. And it's tragic, and it's something that we see every day, and we're losing about 120 people a week to fentanyl in this country, which is basically a 737 Boeing plane crashing every week. Imagine if that were to happen. We need to start looking at this from a different way, and we need to look at this from what this blueprint talks about. Yeah, we have to deal with the immediate. We have to deal with, I think we're dealing with it right now. We have to deal with the immediate. We have to deal with it. We have to make people feel safe in their spaces. But at the same time, we are not going to arrest our way out of this problem. We will never arrest our way out of this problem. More criminal charges are not the answer. Life sentences for 40 milligrams of fentanyl is not the answer. The answer is to address the root causes, and I think this blueprint does an excellent job of that, and I'm very impressed with the work that's been done by our NDP government in this. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Will. Thank you.